It's Friday, November 3rd, 2023. It's hard to believe 90 degrees today. It's November 3rd, not a cloud in the sky. An absolutely stunning day here in Palm Desert, California. But I want to start this video out by saying this. Living in a false reality is going to cost you. Too many people are believing everything they see on the television. Too many people are believing everything they're told on the television, everything that they're reading. If you do not wake up and pay attention, this false reality that they're selling you every day on the television, it's going to cost you. It could cost you your life. It could cost you your future. It could cost you your retirement. It could cost you your life savings. This thing is so out of control, ladies and gentlemen. We're watching such manipulation take place in the markets while people are telling you and I that everything is wonderful. And we're going to talk about a few things today that reinforce that things are not so wonderful, that things are absolutely horrific now. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification down below so that you are alerted when the newest videos drop. But let's talk a little bit more in detail what's going on here today. CNBC, bad news for the economy is good news for the stock market as long as it doesn't get too bad. Now, markets want to see the Fed inject a lot of liquidity. They want to see the Fed print a lot of money. They want to see the Fed lower interest rates. They would love to see the Fed go back to zero. Markets want to see you lose your job. Markets want to see you unemployed. They want to see the brakes slammed on the U.S. economy because that means that the Fed is going to reverse course. That means that the Fed will print a lot of money. That means we'll see a huge injection of liquidity. That's what they believe. More bad news is good news for these markets. Markets don't care if you don't have a job. Markets don't care that you lost your job today. Markets don't care that you're struggling paycheck to paycheck. You can't put food on the table. They don't care. The worse it gets, the more hope that there is that the Fed is going to reverse course. The more hope there is that the Fed is going to lower interest rates, that the Fed is going to start firing up the printing presses again and injecting lots and lots of money back into the economy. I would say this today, get ready to lose your job. A lot of people, unfortunately, watching this video today are going to lose their job probably within the next 6 to 12 months or sooner. Many people watching today may have already lost their job. These markets want to see you lose. They want to see you unemployed. They want to see the easy money coming back. They could care less about you. Just got attacked. This thing just bit my foot. Look at this guy. Anyways, they don't have a care in the world. They're eating good. They're safe. They're protected, just like Mimi, just like Nugget, just like Jimmy, just like Kona. Here, everybody's safe. All the animals live in a little bubble here. You're not an animal. You're not a dog. You're not a cat. You're not a tortoise. You cannot afford to be living in a bubble, ladies and gentlemen. You have got to be paying attention. You've got to be living in reality right now. Otherwise, you, your family, your kids are going to suffer immensely. Here's where the jobs are for October 2023 in one chart. This was really, really interesting. U.S. payrolls increased by 150,000 in October. This was much less than expected. But let's just take a look real quickly where the jobs are. Healthcare and social assistance added 72.2 thousand jobs. Now, these are not high-paying jobs for the most part. And think about all the sick people, what this represents, that we're adding over 72,000 healthcare jobs and social assistance. We got a lot of sick people in America. The government added 51,000 jobs, just what we need. More government jobs. Construction only added 23,000 jobs. Leisure and hospitality, this was shocking. Leisure and hospitality only added 19,000 jobs. And I'm thinking, here is our season. And it's shocking that usually this is the number one sector for jobs, and that's leisure and hospitality, adding only 19,000. And we have the holiday season now coming in, and yet only 19,000 jobs added in leisure and hospitality. Professional and business services, 15,000. Wholesale trade, 9.4 thousand. This is startling here. This is not good. Transport and warehouse, we were down 12.1 thousand in October. Manufacturing, we were down 35,000. 35,000 we were down in manufacturing. Not good for a country where we're not making things. And again, this is just another indicator that we're not really building much. We're not manufacturing, and transportation and warehouse way down over 12,000. Not a good indicator, especially for the month of October. You would think all of the Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the holidays, and yet down over 12,000 for October. Record number of multiple job holders. A closer look inside the horrific October jobs report. This on the Hedge today. The jobs data, as I said earlier, was ugly. But what's hiding below the surface was truly horrific. Non-farm payrolls. We added 150,000, below the 180,000 expected. Down by 50% from the downward revised September print of 297,000. The quality of jobs was absolutely atrocious. 51,000 jobs, as we said, were added by government jobs. 51,000 additional government jobs, just what we need. And who's going to pay? Think about this. Who pays for the government jobs? You pay and I pay. So that means we're probably going to pay higher taxes to support this additional 51,000 jobs, right? Maybe more property taxes, more state and local taxes, more federal taxes, more money printing, more borrowing, more devaluation of your currency. How are we going to pay for all these government workers? More low-paying healthcare and social assistance jobs. 89,000 of the 150,000 jobs were in healthcare and education. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't see how we're going to remain this world superpower if we're just going to continue to add healthcare and social assistance jobs and leisure and hospitality jobs. How in the world are we going to continue to be a world superpower? I don't know even at this point if we are a world superpower. We're not making things. We're not producing. We're not manufacturing. World superpowers typically are the countries, the nations that manufacture goods and products. We're manufacturing more healthcare because we have so many sick people, so many people that are obese and dependent on pharmaceuticals, so many people who are depressed because they're not getting out and they're not outside, they're not working out, they're not running, they're not exercising, they're not training. One of the best things you can do for depression is get to the gym, get on the mat at jiu-jitsu, and get a good workout in. It's one of the best things you can do. Get off the couch, get out of the house, and get the body moving. One of the best things you can do. But more people would just rather take a pill and make their stomach fat go away, or take a pill to make themselves happy instead of depressed. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no magic pill out there. Some of the best things you can do, you can start today. You can just get off the couch, you can get out of your house, you can get off the cell phone, you can get off the computer, you can get out and take advantage of the weather. You can get out, you can run, you can swim, you can hike, you can go do jiu-jitsu, you can get to the gym, get a half an hour workout in, 40 minutes. Do something. Record relentless downward revisions. August was revised down by 62,000 from 227,000 to 165,000. September was revised down by 39,000 from 336,000 to 297,000. See, all these job numbers, month after month, keep getting revised down. With the revisions, employment in August and September combined, it's actually 101,000 lower than the previously reported. So there's 101,000 jobs that really don't exist. Now it gets even worse. 8 of the last 9 months have been revised down. We keep getting these initial fake numbers. And I'm sure next month they will probably revise October down. But nobody will care because it won't matter. People will have already forgotten. We keep getting fake data, fake numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Employment is collapsing. In October, the number of employer Americans collapsed by 348,000. More people have been forced to take on 2 or more jobs to make ends meet. So out of this 150,000 for October, how many of these jobs belong to one person? Meaning that one person is working 2 or even 3 of these jobs. And they're barely keeping their heads above water. So it's probably not 150,000 more people working or finding jobs. It's probably a lot less because many people are working multiple jobs. We have 8.5 million people right here in the United States working multiple jobs. That is a surge of 396,000 in 1 month. So 396,000 more people in just 1 month are having to work additional jobs. And I think, look, if you have the time, you have the ability, if that's what you have to do right now to raise capital, to pay off debt, then that's what you got to do right now. You got to hustle hard right now. One of the best things you can do right now is take advantage, if you can get a job or multiple jobs right now, and work the debt down, save as much capital as possible, get these bills paid off. You're going to be very thankful a year from now for sure. Bond King Bill Gross says the U.S. economy headed for a recession as more indicators flash in fourth quarter. California Highway Patrol flying over. Probably more crime. Crime is absolutely going crazy out here. Again, Bond King Bill Gross says the U.S. economy headed for a recession as more indicators flash in the fourth quarter. This from insider.com. So what do you think? Are we headed for a recession? I truly believe we've been in a recession. I think now we're headed for a depression. And when you watch this massive volatility, yesterday, Dow Jones up 564 points. Today, I think it was up a little bit over 200, all based on hope. There's no fundamentals. It's all based on hope. How in the world can people continue to believe this nonsense? And the sad thing is, people are believing it, and people are watching the television, and they're being told that the economy is doing well, that the consumer is resilient, that everything's fine. Go out, buy a car, go take a vacation, go buy a house at 7.5%, 8% mortgage rates. Go ahead, do that. And many people, what's really sad is so many people are broke, and they've been told so many times that things are good that they actually believe it. That they must think, well, maybe I'm not doing well, but everybody else is. The economy's doing well. Maybe it's just me. Maybe maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just the only one struggling. Don't believe this nonsense. There are millions upon millions of people in this country now struggling. They're so far behind on credit card payments, auto payments, house payments, student loan payments. You are not the only one. How can you sit there and look at your checking account or look at your savings account or go to the grocery store and buy a bag of groceries or put gas in your car and think that something isn't wrong? Of course you know it's wrong. You're not the only person struggling. You're not the only family struggling. They want you to think you're the only one. And I guess if they tell a lie enough times, people begin to believe it, that, well, maybe it's just me. Maybe we're just one of the few people struggling. Everybody else is doing great. The economy's booming. Maybe, some things will change in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, things are not going to change. They're going to get much worse. The only thing that can change is you. You may have to go out and take on multiple side hustles. You may have to open up your own business. You may have to work on weekends. You may have to work additional hours. You may have to think outside of the box on how you can make money right now. This economy has got a long way down to go. A long way. We're heading into a depression. This is now, no doubt, a full-blown recession. Now, here's another huge red flag regarding the economy. Shipping giant, this is on Yahoo Finance. Shipping giant laying off 10,000 as health crisis boom turns to bust. This is Maersk Shipping. Falling container rates and waning demand are battering the shipping industry. Now, this is a bellwether of global trade right here. Not just the U.S., but global trade. And I can say this, that When those shipping containers are not coming to America, that means that people are buying less. That means more than likely people are going to buy less this Christmas. People don't have discretionary spending in order to keep doing what they've been doing over the last couple of years. The free, easy money has expired, ladies and gentlemen. It's gone, and it's not coming back. Now, we see what's happening in these shipping rates, these massive global shipping companies. What's going to happen to the trucking companies? What happens to the warehouse companies? What happens to the FedEx drivers and the FedEx pilots? There's going to be less things, less products shipped. And if they're not coming in on those containers out here on the West Coast, in Long Beach and LA, that means trucks aren't needed. That means that warehouses aren't as needed, so less warehouse workers. And if there's less things in the warehouse, there's less people buying things on Amazon and e-commerce. So this is going to trickle down to many different sectors. WatchPro.com. Rolex prices start falling again as supply and demand rebalance. I bring this up because, again, this is another bellwether to what's happening in the economy. And when people had all this FU money a couple years ago, when we had all that stimulus and the triple P money and the unemployment benefits and all of this just craziness going on, people couldn't spend it fast enough. They were buying the Dodge Chargers, they were buying the Challengers, they didn't have to pay rent. Hey, let me go out and buy a $20,000, $30,000 watch. So I mean, here you have somebody making maybe $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, and now they're going out and they're buying $20,000, $30,000, and $40,000 watches. This is why so many people are going to get what they deserve, because they could not control themselves. The Bloomberg Subdial Index, which covers the top 50 traded models of watches on the pre-owned market. The index dropped sharply from a February 2022 peak of 60,000 to 36,000 by the end of that year. Prices stabilized right at that level of 36,000 through June. Prices have begun falling again. From June, the index now is down to 36, falling 6% from June, or the June figure. So how much farther will it go? I think it's going to go down a lot farther, because people are no doubt going to be forced to begin selling a lot of these watches that they overpaid for in the beginning. I just talked to a good friend of mine yesterday who manages a pawn shop, and he told me they are lending out so much money. And a year ago, 2 years ago, he said business was dead. Everybody had money. They didn't need to pawn anything. Now they're broke. So they're coming in with all the stuff they bought when they had all that money, and now they're pawning it. Now they're borrowing money from the pawn shops. And so he says he's never seen his store lend out so much money. And of course, they're getting hard assets for that money. You don't come back and pay that loan back, they're keeping your Rolex watch, they're keeping your diamond ring, they're keeping your Cartier jewelry, they're keeping it. And they're going to sell it for a lot less than you paid for it. Last article I want to close with here. Things are continuing to escalate out over in the Middle East there. And I was reading this article on The Hedge today, and also watching some of the news today. Now, Hezbollah chief, U.S. directly responsible for Gaza atrocities, will soon pay heavy price. He said Americans, not America, but Americans will pay. This is something that I think you better really pay attention to. And you have to ask yourself, if you were out at the mall, maybe out to dinner, out in a public place, what would you do if something were to occur, something were to happen? Are you ready? Are you prepared? Do you have a plan? A lot of people think that nothing will ever happen to them. They're never going to be a victim of crime. They'll never be in a car accident. They're never going to be a victim of Hezbollah. There's no way any of that could ever happen here. But wow, think about, I mean, you just use some common sense. Think about over just the last 5 to 10 years, how many people have come to the United States that we don't know why they're here, we don't know who they are, we don't know what they believe in, we don't know how much they hate us, we have no idea where they're from, we know nothing about them, their beliefs, why they're here, are they here purposely, what are their intentions? You cannot think about just nothing can happen to you when this has been allowed to go on for decades and we have no idea who any of these people are. You go back a few weeks ago with people parachuting out of the sky on paragliders and riding bicycles and motorcycles through neighborhoods and just doing the most evil things possible. And you think that can't happen here. I mean, this again is, these are people who don't live in the real world that believe that. I mean, these are people who believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. If you believe that you're immune from this stuff, you are so far gone. The reality is, it's here. The reality is that you just had a leader of Hezbollah tell you right now, you're going to pay. I wouldn't take that lightly. I would not take that lightly. Make sure your number one asset next to God, and you all need to be walking very, very close to God right now. We are dealing with very, very evil people and evil times. Walk extremely close to God and make sure you have security. Make sure you are training. Make sure you have your security house in order. Even when you're not at your house, if you're out and about, have a plan. Make sure you have proficient training. If it's legal for you in your area to carry, you need to be carrying everywhere. And it may not just be you. You may have to defend other people. But anybody that believes that we're untouchable, we're immune, you need to get out of your little bubble really, really quick. Really quick. We're in a new world, ladies and gentlemen. The police aren't going to save you or protect you. The government's not going to protect you. Nobody's going to protect you but you. You're going to be on your own. So I pray to God nothing bad happens. I pray for peace on both sides. But the way I see it right now, things are escalating. More countries getting involved. More ships showing up. More soldiers showing up. More fighting going on. And the deeper this thing gets and the hotter this thing gets, the chances of retaliation right here in America are going to be much higher. So be on the lookout, situational awareness, know your environment. I would stay away from big crowds, be training, be praying, have a good weekend, stay safe out there. God bless all of you.